And Commissioner Roach is here. For the record, we have a quorum. First order of business is to accept the minutes of the regular board meeting, which was held last March 18th. Any questions, comments, additions, subtractions? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to accept those minutes.
So moved.
Motion's been made by
Second.
Commissioner Diaz, seconded by Commissioner Williams. All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay, those minutes are accepted. I'd entertain the same motion for the acceptance of the minutes of the meeting of the special board meeting back on March 27th. Unless there's any questions or comments, entertain a motion to accept.
So moved.
It's been moved by Commissioner Farrow. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by both Commissioner Williams and Commissioner Diaz. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, those meetings are accepted. Reports, Chief of Police, Lieutenant Lyons, I haven't had any conversation with the chief today. I wasn't sure if he was going to be with us or not. Have you had a chance to talk to the chief today, whether or not he was going to be attending?
I did not get to. I had to go to a funeral today, so I did not
Okay.
get to. So I'm not sure if he will be.
And he usually reaches out if he can't make it, but
Sure.
I haven't heard from him, so we'll move on. Is there any representation from the union here this evening?
No, sir.
None? Okay. The Internal Affairs Quarterly Report. Lieutenant Rosen, are you there? There he is.
Sir, how are you?
Lieutenant, my apologies for, I know you tried calling a short while back. I've been tied up for the last several hours and I just want to extend my apologies.
No worries at all, sir. No worries.
Okay. All right. You have the floor, Lieutenant.
Good evening, commissioners. Thank you for having me here tonight. So I would like to congratulate Commissioner Ferguson and Martinez. I believe they were appointed a few days ago. So obviously, you know, your support and all the board members, your support for the PD and the community is certainly commendable. And as Commissioner Roach said, I would like to just touch on the first quarter, going through some of the stats as it relates to internal affairs. So from January 1, 2025 to the current date, we currently have 111 investigations that were opened. 33 of those were formal citizens complaint, which falls directly under the Board of Police Commissioners. One thing we do is we look at the quarters every 6 months, every 9 months, and then the year, and we look for any statistical analysis. We look for patterns and trends to try to quell some of the investigations. So far in the year, we have 33. Like I said, at this point last year, we had 21. So that is a 57% increase. But looking over some of the historical data, it is more of a norm. Last year was an outlier at 21 with the low amount of quantity compared to the past 5 to 10 years. Just to move into some of the background investigations, we are at 111 investigations. 67 of those are entry-level police background investigations. So we took on 67 of them. We already closed out 43. So we're looking at the next one, the next group completed with that 2025 in the next 3 weeks. So if we get those completed, we'll be looking at a nice size police academy class, hopefully mid-May or the first week of June. So that'll definitely help out the rank and file and patrol. There's 5 chief internal investigations on the year. 2 of them are harassment type investigations, which I'm bound by policy to notify the board of, but they are currently ongoing. So as soon as we're done with the police background investigations, we're going to jump into really get back into the internals and the citizens complaints, closing out as many as
What's
possible.
wrong with your foot?
We do currently have 2 investigations that need pending Barrows hearings. I don't want to step on Lieutenant Lyons' feet. I know she's going to touch on it, but there is a third that we just submitted last week. So we're going to have to work on getting that one in the books as well. As far as staffing, we're currently staffed with 5 primary investigators. We have Sergeant Lazaro, Sergeant Taylor, Detective Philip Norris, Sergeant John Topolsky, and Sergeant Carter. That being at 5, It's definitely better where we were last year. We fell a historical low with 3 investigators and 4 investigators. The norm is between 6 and 8, going back to 1997 or so. So perhaps in the next couple of months or so, we could sit down with the board and discuss if you guys deem it necessary to add staffing or not. As the staffing goes directly to the Board of Police Commissioners. Other than that, on stats, we're moving forward. We're closing out cases. We closed out approximately 80 cases on the year. The investigators down here, even with the immense workload, they're working diligently. And I speak their praise all the time. They're doing an excellent job. But if there's any questions regarding numbers, I'll answer them. If anything about a specific investigation, it would have to be in a private forum. But thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Do you have any questions for the lieutenant? No? Okay.
Thank you,
But
Lieutenant.
everybody received a copy of the report?
I may have not. I received a lot of other things. I have to look. I didn't look at my emails today.
Okay, I'm sure you would have gotten it.
I know you're good with it, so.
Yep.
Okay.
And if there's any questions in the future, feel free to reach out. You can call me, email me. I'll be happy to sit down with each and every one of you. I appreciate it.
Beautiful, thanks. And I know you mentioned before, Lieutenant, the new commissioners will get a chance to maybe just to give them an idea of how your office works. That would be great.
Yep. They come down whenever we could have all you guys.
Yeah. We met up on Thursday. I had a chance to talk to both of them, but we had to go kind of off campus to do that. That's why I didn't bug you, but we can line it up where we can come by your office. That'd be great.
Understood. Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Take care.
Thanks, Lieutenant.
Thank you.
And for the record, we have Commissioner Lyons, who is on by phone, my office phone for that matter. He was having difficulty tying in. And maybe he is now, I don't know. But in any case, for the record, he is present, Lieutenant. Okay. In progress. We will get to the clerk's report. We have 2 items for you, right, Lieutenant?
Yes, sir. The first are the 2, well, now as Lieutenant Rosem just mentioned, 3 Barrows hearings. 2 of them, unfortunately, just have been keep getting pushed back for 5 or 6 months now. But I have spoke with both the union attorney and I've spoke with the city attorney, and they've mentioned if possible for a hearing April 29th or May 6th are good for them, which are both Tuesdays, which I know previously I've worked in the past for the commission, but obviously now we have congratulations officially to the 2 new commissioners. If Tuesdays work or not, I'm not sure, but those are the 2 dates that they mentioned worked.
Okay. As we know, these hearings take place in person. So folks need to be available in person for these meetings. And I'm assuming Tuesdays are pretty good for everybody. And when we've had that pretty successful scheduling hearings on Tuesday, we need a total of 4 commissioners to proceed. So I would say the 29th, only because this has been postponed since God knows when. If is everybody okay with that? Are we going to have?
I can do it.
It works for Commissioner Diaz. Commissioner Farrow, do you know off the top of your head? Yes, you're in. Myself, Commissioner Williams, and okay. So we'll have a quorum. Mike Martinez, is our Tuesday evenings convenient for you to be in person? Okay, you're muted, but I take that as a yes. You gave us the thumbs up. John, being in person, John Ferguson, no problems. Okay, thanks for the nod. All right, so we're on for the 29th, and is that for the 2 hearings that we think we can knock off in that evening?
I don't
Sorry.
know about the new one that Lieutenant Rosen mentioned. Maybe he can talk more on that. I know one we can probably settle on. The other one is if he might want to fight. And the third one, I'm not sure, Lieutenant Rosen.
Okay, Lieutenant Rosen?
Yeah, I think the most. Am I coming over?
Yes, there you are.
Yeah, I think the most recent one, that third one is fairly simple.
Okay,
I think that'll
All
move
right.
forward nicely.
so there's the possibility for a settlement, but a simple one nonetheless. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So schedule all three and then hope for the best.
Let's do that. Yes,
Mhm.
we'll do that. And if they have to come back because it's just too bad. We've been more than accommodating to these folks. So, okay. Moving on. I'm sorry. Do you have anything else, Lieutenant Lyons?
I just have one more tow company that is looking for approval to be on the city tow list. Everything seems to be okay, except for one issue. They are still owing some back taxes of give or take $30,000. But other than that, they have the space, they have the tow trucks, they have everything else. So we're just looking for the board's yes or no on that, despite owing the taxes.
I'm not sure if that is a requirement that you need to have your taxes paid up. It certainly would be nice if it's not. I don't, any of the commissioners have any thoughts on that? I mean, I would be inclined to at least table this request and
Give them an opportunity to pay.
well, give them an opportunity to pay up. I don't know if legally, I would ask the city attorney if we can use that as an excuse to deny them. But I don't know if any other council or commissioners have any thoughts on that.
They wouldn't be able to register any new vehicles until the taxes were paid. So I think they understand that there's an issue with not paying the taxes. I have no problem tabling it until they get an opportunity to pay the taxes or us finding out if it's even okay for us to do that.
Okay.
I can so move or.
There's a motion to table from
Second.
Commissioner Diaz, and there's a second by Commissioner Lyons. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the item is tabled. It's unanimous. Anything else, Lieutenant Lyons?
Could we communicate with them that that's what we'd like, for them to either let us know and on our end us looking.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Could you send them at least an email that the item was tabled and we're looking into the particulars?
Yes, sir. I'll reach out to them and the city attorney.
All right, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. First item under new business, we have Councilman Boyd with us. Councilman, are you still there?
I am.
Okay, thank you for your patience, sir.
Of course.
There was a decision last month regarding Councilman Boyd's request for a stop sign, Lincoln Boulevard and McKinley. And I apologize, Lieutenant Lyons. I don't have the city traffic attorney's recommendation, or actually would be on the minutes from last month's meeting. What did we ended up voting on? He had made other recommendations to have a no parking area far enough in to not cause any visual obstruction, but if I remember right.
So it's my belief the councilman actually requested all-way stops, but the engineer said that the all-way stop was not warranted, but I think no parking here to corner signs were warranted in that area. And then the councilman wanted to speak on regards to not approving the all-way stop sign.
Okay. I think that pretty much is the crux of it. Councilman Boyd, you have the floor.
Good evening, commissioners.
Good evening.
I'm still at work, so excuse the noise. A constituent reached out to me a few months ago about the speeding, and recommended a stop sign, so I put it in. And I've been to that area, and Lincoln Boulevard, and I want to say, one second, Lincoln Boulevard and McKinley. And the cars do speed down that narrow part of the street. I thought a stop sign would have been warranted at the corner of, there's one at the corner of McKinley, but there's not one on Lincoln Boulevard. And that's where he wanted it. And I was told, I guess, there aren't enough accidents that have happened to have one there, which makes no sense to me. And I was wondering if you would reconsider putting a stop sign there, because a no parking here to corner sign is not going to do anything.
If I'm
Councilman,
correct,
and
Lincoln
there-
Boulevard, isn't that the street that Central?
It's
Yeah,
the,
it goes
it's
into
the, it's the
Central.
widest,
So I think we
it's
have
the
to think
widest
about
street
that.
in the state.
Correct. I think we have to think about that as well because of the traffic going on Lincoln Boulevard. If you're putting a stop sign on Lincoln Boulevard, you know, I'm not saying, but recommending if it's speeding, then possibly recommending a speed bump, but not, you know, the stop sign, because how that whole strip is and the traffic coming in and out from the school, we have to take that in consideration as well.
Correct.
Just, you know, for your information, Councilman, it's he believes, well, he's saying a minimum of 5 accidents for a multi-wheel stop sign are required in a 12-month period. Now, that's for as I stand at a recommendation. We have approved stop sign requests to impede speeding. So this wouldn't be a unique request or I'm just seeing if I missed anything here. When you put the request in, was it because of speeding or because of you know, because he came back and he said he recommends no parking 25 feet to the corner kind of thing. Was it a line of sight issue or a speeding issue?
Speeding issue.
Okay, strictly a speeding issue. All
Yeah.
right. Okay. You said
Like,
something.
yeah, because
Yeah, he said something about the
bush.
bushes and
Mhm.
and whatnot.
Yeah.
All right. So we can do one of 3 things here. We can uphold our decision from last month and just go with the 25 feet from the corner, no parking signs. We could, since it's this is the first meeting since we voted on this, we can reconsider. And if we reconsider, we can afterwards, it brings it back up on our agenda to either table or not approve the recommendation of the city traffic engineer and have the 4-way stop installed. So any discussion from the commissioners on that? Does anybody have an opinion on it?
Commissioner, I'm sorry to interrupt. Dolores, Commissioner Farrell got kicked off and is trying to get back in. Can you see if he's in the waiting room? I'm sorry.
Yep, he's on his way.
Okay, thank you.
All right,
Sorry, sir.
that's okay.
So Dan, to be clear, if we reconsider, it's given us a chance and the councilman a chance to I mean, I know we've been talking about this and I had a concern with the parking because of the residents and how it affects the people who live on McKinley Avenue if you put a no parking sign there. The stop signs, I don't know how it is. Used to take my daughter to school at Central and took those roads a lot, and know that a stop sign on that avenue during school hours would probably drive some people and school buses crazy, but because it's going right back and forth in front of the school or a block from the school. I don't know if on the whole, if at night, because of its wideness, it does become kind of a drag strip. I have no idea. I don't live in that area or know anyone in that area right now. I used to know a lot of people who live there. So I'm willing to table it and get some information if it helps in any in any direction.
All right, unless there's any other discussion on it, we first we need a motion to reconsider this item.
I'll move to reconsider.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor to reconsider the request or our vote from last month on this, and it's been seconded by Commissioner Lyons. All those in favor of reconsideration?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
I believe that's unanimous. Now I believe Commissioner Diaz would like to make a motion to table this for the reasons where he just mentioned. Is there a second on the motion to table?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion is tabled. Okay, Councilman Boyd, I would just suggest, and I'm sure you've talked to several of the residents there, and just maybe the follow up and make sure there's no major issues with folks that may be against it. Sometimes you talk to one or two of the neighbors and they want something, and the rest of the folks aren't too crazy about it. That's just a suggestion, but
Absolutely.
and then we'll bring this to a conclusion next month, I'm sure. Thanks for your patience.
Awesome. No, thank you for considering it. I appreciate that.
All
Thank
right.
you for coming in.
Okay,
course.
King. Take care now.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Okay, next is a request from April Gale to address the board regarding a citizen's complaint back on April of 2024. Ms. Gale, I believe you're on with us.
Yes. Hi, good
Okay.
evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, can the commissioners hear Ms. Gale?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
you have, go right ahead, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, commissioners. I'm here again a year later as a taxpayer and as the spouse of a targeted officer, asking basically a critical question, looking for the accountability in the police department. Over the past 18 months, I continue to witness inconsistencies in discipline. Just a couple of comparisons. A white female sergeant had her firearm stolen from a locked vehicle, and her discipline was 10 holidays. Meanwhile, just recently, this past month, an African-American sergeant who has just made sergeant in October of 2024 left her firearm in a public restroom at the arena that was then retrieved by a civilian, and she receives 3 holidays, a month of extended probation, and as a gift, appointed commander of the police training academy. You have an African-American male sergeant who was recently photographed sleeping on duty, no internal affairs case, just 4 holidays taken. An African-American officer who altered overtime slips and was found untruthful in multiple areas of an internal affairs interview. And the end result with him, after everything's held in abeyance, 20-day suspension and retraining, no termination, no referral to post for decertification, and no transparency. Meanwhile, a white lieutenant accused of being stationary, doing his job in a vehicle for several hours on multiple dates, is demoted, suspended 25 days, sent to a fitness for duty evaluation, and also now referred to post for decertification by the chief. Despite an overwhelming vote of no confidence and Commissioner Roach, were quoted in the Connecticut Post saying that you believe the chief is doing a good job. I respectfully ask, a good job based on what?
Well,
Because
this isn't going to be a back and forth. We're allowing, we allow folks, usually 5 minutes to address the board. But I'm not going to get into a confrontation with you.
It wasn't a question, it was a statement.
Okay,
I'll just
please. And
continue.
then it's a
Okay.
statement that had a question in it. Okay, but
Yeah,
I understand what you're saying now. Then you can continue.
Thank you. Because according to a recent FOI request, records show that Chief Porter was not post certified when he was sworn in on December 1st, 2022. In fact, his documentation was submitted to post for recertification January 17th of 2024 by Bridgeport Civil Service. It's essentially his current certification is now still questionable. This information has been given to Attorney Peabody, who I'm not sure if you were made aware, is the attorney hired by the city attorneys to investigate my citizen's complaint from 2024 and is still allegedly investigating. That information has been provided to him and the city attorneys this morning. If true, every decision he has made, disciplinary actions, promotions, assignments, may be legally invalid and challenged. Bridgeport can't afford to have leadership that is unaccountable and now possibly uncertified. We deserve discipline that's consistent in a chief who is lawfully authorized to serve. So with that said, I urge the commission to investigate, demand documentation, and take action starting with the office of the chief.
Thank you, Ms. Gill. Next item is a request from Daniel Pizarro to address the board regarding the installation of parking meters on Golden Hill Street.
He's not with us tonight, sir.
He's not with us. This is kind of a simple matter. I think we were provided. There's 14 meters we're talking about. This is on Golden Hill Street. Some are not operating at all. Most of them aren't. Some are damaged. A couple of them were. This is just a request to replace some of the ones that are not functioning and some that have been knocked down and disappeared. It's a pretty simple thing that requires our approval. Does anybody have any issues or questions with it?
Sir, it's my understanding that he also must install new ones, and that's why he wanted to hold off from actually coming to speak with you, because he understood that installing new ones, I guess, have to go through the city engineer's office as well.
Oh, okay. I thought it might. All right. So there's no action necessary for this. All right, moving on. We have a request from Lauren Coakley Vincent and Jonathan Delgado to address the board regarding downtown wayfinding signage project. Did I get all that in there okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Lauren, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, and good evening to all members of the commission. My colleague in the Office of Planning and Economic Development, Jonathan Delgado, is triple booked this evening, so it's just me today, but we look forward to returning to speak with you again in May about this project. What we were hoping to accomplish this evening was to get a general sense of what you all would like to hear in a detailed proposal for this project. So quick bit of background. So the Downtown Special Services District is a community-based organization focused exclusively on downtown Bridgeport. We serve primarily the business community with a couple of initiatives, keeping the neighborhood clean, contributing to public safety, and then also promoting all of the businesses and cultural institutions and events and activities in the neighborhood. And you may have seen or heard about Colorful Bridgeport, been to the Downtown Farmers Market, or patronized one of our wonderful downtown businesses. So we partnered up with the Office of Planning and Economic Development to come up with a concept for what is known as wayfinding signage, or basically helping you walk around and navigate the neighborhood and find out, where the Stress Factory Comedy Club is, where McClevey Green is, where to find parking, which city hall you're trying to get to, and so forth. And so we had worked together to design a concept that is specific to downtown and points of interest in the neighborhood, but that also could be replicated in other neighborhoods with their own style and own look and feel. So we do have a design mock-up to share, and I can share it right now. I don't know if I can share my screen, but I could try to do that, to show you the design, or I can put into the chat a link so you can look at it. And then we also have a number of intersections identified that would be where the signs would be placed, and the points of interest that would be featured on each sign. We did meet with the engineering office to identify the best possible location on what type of street sign. And so what we came to was that the decorative light poles downtown would be the least obstructive, easiest way to implement this signage program. And so the size and the design of the signs are meant to fit that light pole. And if there's any, so I'll put in the chat the link to the, sorry, trying to do two things at once is tricky. Here we go. That's the link to the mock-up of what the signage, one example of the signage would look like. And yeah, so we were just hoping to get some input from this group as to what would be helpful information to bring back in a more thorough and detailed proposal with sort of all of the intersections and points of interest fully fleshed out. Oh, one other thing I can mention is that the city has an approved vendor who would be able to print the signs for $45 per sign, and we're looking to do about 20 intersections or 20 signs. And the funds for these signs would come from restricted downtown capital dollars that have already been set aside for downtown projects. Public facilities would do the installation, and OPED, Office of Planning and Economic Development, would coordinate the printing. But yeah, would love to. I know you mentioned there's not a back and forth here, Commissioner Roach, but if there were any key points we should bring to the group next time when we do a very detailed proposal, that would be most welcome and helpful to know. Okay.
We appreciate you coming in. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I hope to return next month with some detailed visuals to share, intersections, points of interest for each intersection, and a general timeline on what would be needed to implement this project. So
Excellent.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Commissioner Roach, you're mute.
Thanks. I'm sorry. How did
You have the good conversation.
I was,
The
yeah.
whole conversation.
Talking to myself. Thanks. Everybody else is having fun watching me do it. Thanks, Commissioner Williams, for jumping in. But I'm sorry, request from the city traffic engineer's office not to approve the handicap parking sign at 10 Armstrong Place, which was tabled at our last month's meeting. This is a one-way street. The applicant lives on one side of the street where there's no parking, and she is requesting a handicap parking sign directly across the street from her in front of someone else's house. Now, the question came up whether or not it is improper or illegal or against the state statute to put a handicap sign for somebody in front of someone else's resident, you know, at across the street, next door, whatever. And I think Commissioner Williams brought that up to ask for more clarification on the city traffic engineer's opinion. And correct me if I'm wrong, Commissioner Williams, but I did have a conversation with the city traffic engineer, and he said, although it is considered a requirement not to approve, there is nothing on the books that says we absolutely cannot put a sign across the street from an applicant's house. So we have the ability to, as you know, disagree with the recommendation, and we don't necessarily have to go along with it. But we do so on a rare occasion. Actually, this will be the second time this meeting. But with that, I'll open it up for any discussion on the matter, and if we can see if we can come to a conclusion.
Commissioner, I know Commissioner Cruz in the past couple meetings said that she wanted to speak to the individual who put this request in. I did speak to her on the phone, and I think she was part of the meeting earlier, but then has signed off. We did send her a link, and she wanted to be a part of it to talk
This
to you
is
about
this
her.
is the applicant?
Yes.
Okay.
So
All
she
right.
did want to speak about whatever I could say to
Okay.
get the handicap sign, but I don't see her on anymore.
Gotcha. Okay. With that, I'll entertain a motion to table once again. We'll give her another bite at the apple next month if that's that works with everybody.
So moved.
It's been
So moved.
moved. Motion to table by Commissioner Diaz. We have a second.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Lyons. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. That
Commissioner
matter is
Rose,
tabled.
I have a quick question. Has anybody reached out to the person who this handicap sign house would be in front of to see where they stand on this? Are they?
Not to my knowledge. So and that's a very that's a very valid
I mean, if
point.
their feelings are, they might be friends, and it might not.
Maybe, yeah,
They
we
might
don't
be
care, that's
Facebook.
fine. I mean, it's a tight street and not
I've
many
been down, yeah.
driveways on the street, and parking is at a premium. And so whether or not that, which could mean that we're, you know, that this applicant could, you know, we could really be helping her out. If you know, if it's really difficult for her to walk any distance. But on the other side of the coin, you know, when you don't have too much parking to begin with, and you know, some of the streets end up with a half a dozen handicap signs on it, people get frustrated, and you know, when they can't find a place to park, and you know, as you know, some of the folks that do have the handicaps, they can't walk a half a mile to their house, but they can certainly walk you know, 30-40 steps if they absolutely have to. So it's there's all sorts of variables here, but let's see if we can explore that a little bit. Anyhow, the motion's been tabled. We have nothing on correspondence. Nothing on letters of appreciation, and nothing in the hopper as far as widow pensions are concerned. So we move on to recommend. We have one item from the city traffic engineer, and that's a request to approve the removal of the handicap parking sign at 185 Cottage Street. The person that it was installed for no longer resides there, and we have these pop up quite a bit, and the city needs to be a little bit more vigilant on moving this kind of business overall, at least the city traffic engineer's office. So unless there's any questions on that, we're taking down a handicap parking sign at 185 Cottage Street that's no longer necessary. Is there a motion to approve the city traffic engineer's recommendation?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Lyons. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by several. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. Any other business? Are we looking good for 2 weeks from the 29th? We're talking 2 weeks from today.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that
Yes.
can't be there for any reason right now? Okay, and it's in person. All right.
Can we have
Sounds
a
good.
backup date of the 6th, just in case one of the lawyers?
I mean, how many times have we postponed it? Basically,
Way
you
too
tell them this, they better show up on the 29th. Enough's enough, but that's just my 2 cents.
I will let them know. You're the boss.
Listen, if somebody has a funeral or something like that, of course, we'll bend a little bit, but they get paid, we don't for this, Any case, any other business? Are we all in good shape? Again, Commissioners Martinez and Ferguson, welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard.
Looking forward to working with you guys, and we'll move things right along. Okay. All right. We'll see you. Looks like we'll see you in 2 weeks, if not before. Commissioner Lyons, something else?
No, I'd just like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
Yeah, I will certainly entertain a motion to adjourn. Commissioner Lyons has moved to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Diaz. All those in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Aye.
All right, folks.
Good
Thanks
night,
again.
gentlemen.
We're adjourned.
Ladies, gentlemen.
We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Take care.
Night, guys.
All right, bye-bye.
Aye.